Hello everyone, welcome back to Textual Treasury. If you have just started preparing for CGSET, NET or Assistant Professor exams, one of the first things you need to understand is the timeline of English literature. Think of English literature as a journey of more than 1500 years. Every age reflects different ideas, beliefs, writing styles, and literary forms. Once you understand these periods, remembering authors, words, and movements becomes much easier. So today, let's travel through major periods of English literature from Beowulf to postmodernism. First is the Anglo-Saxon period, spans from 450 to 1066. The story begins with the Anglo-Saxons, and this period is also known as Old English period. England was frequently facing invasions and battles, so literature reflected heroism, bravery, loyalty, and warfare. Imagine a warrior returning from battle after risking his life for his tribe. The spirit dominates Anglo-Saxon literature. The most famous work of this age is Beowulf, the earliest English epic. Some of the important features are heroic poetry, pagan values, oral tradition, and alliteration. Remember, heroism is the key word for this age. The Middle English period. What happened here is everything changed in 1066 when the Norman conquest took place. French culture entered England and English literature slowly evolved into Middle English. This period can be divided into Anglo-Norman period, age of Chaucer, and Barren age. The superstar of this age is Geoffrey Chaucer, often called the father of English poetry. His masterpiece, The Canterbury Tales, presents people from different walks of life traveling together and sharing stories. Think of it like a modern day vlog where everyone has a different story to tell. Keyword here is religion and society. The Renaissance period. This period marks the rebirth of learning. People began questioning old beliefs and focused on human potential, knowledge, science, and individual achievement. The Renaissance period brought humanism. This period includes preparation for Renaissance, Elizabethan age, Jacobean age, Caroline age, Commonwealth period. And when we talk about the Renaissance, one name shines above all, William Shakespeare. His plays transformed English literature forever. Imagine a time when theaters were packed and people eagerly waited for new plays, much like today's new movie releases. Key features: humanism, exploration, individualism, and flourishing drama. Human potential is the keyword here. The neoclassical period. After the Renaissance came an age that valued order, reason, discipline, and logic. Writers believed literature should teach and guide society. This period includes Restoration Age, Augustan Age, Age of Johnson. Important writers include John Dryden, Alexander Pope, Jonathan Swift, Samuel Johnson. If Renaissance literature was driven by imagination, neoclassical literature was driven by reason. Think of it as heart versus mind. Renaissance represents heart and neoclassical period represents mind. Here reason is the keyword. The Romantic period. Then came a literary revolution. Romantic poets felt that reason alone wasn't enough. They celebrated nature, emotions, imagination, and individual freedom. The Romantic movement officially begins with lyrical ballads by Wordsworth and Coleridge in 1798. Important poets were Wordsworth, Coleridge, Shelley, Keats, and Byron. Imagine sitting beside a river, watching mountains, and writing poetry about your feelings. That's the romantic spirit. Imagination is the keyword here. The Victorian period. The Victorian age corresponds to the reign of Queen Victoria. Britain became a powerful industrial nation. Society experienced rapid changes due to science, technology, and industrialization. Literature reflected social problems, class divisions, moral values, and scientific discoveries. Important writers were Charles Dickens, Thomas Hardy, Tennyson, and Matthew Arnold. Victorian novels often acted like social mirrors. Social reality is the keyword here. The modern period. The modern age emerged after massive social upheavals and World War I. People began questioning traditional beliefs and values. Literature became experimental. Writers explored alienation, fragmentation, psychological complexity. Important writers include T.S. Eliot, W.B. Yeats, James Joyce, and Virginia Woolf. If Victorian writers believed society could be improved, modern writers often believed the society was broken. Disillusionment is the keyword here. The postmodern period. After World War II, literature entered the postmodern age. Writers challenged grand truths and fixed meanings. Themes include multiple interpretation, diversity, identity, media, and technology. Important theories emerged: feminism, post-colonialism, deconstruction, and cultural studies. Postmodern writers often blur the line between reality and fiction. Question everything is the keyword here. I will give you one quick revision trick. Remember this sequence: heroism, then religion, humanism, reason, imagination, society, disillusionment, and lastly diversity. Or simply the first letter of all the words. So today we learned the complete timeline of English literature from the heroic world of Beowulf to the complex world of postmodernism. In the next episode, we will begin our journey with the very first period, the Anglo-Saxon age, and understand its history, characteristics, and important works in detail. If you are preparing for CGSET, NET, Assistant Professor, or MA English, this series is going to build your literary foundation from scratch. Comment below which literary period fascinates you the most. Don't forget to subscribe to Textual Treasury for the complete CGSET English 2026 series. See you in the next episode.